commitment, and there we had the West and Central Africa Ministerial Commitment, which Nigeria is a signatory to, a part of. The Honorable Minister of Education and the Honorable Minister of Health in Congo-Brazzaville last year, with 25 other ministers of education across West and Central Africa, endorsed a document that committed to the well-being, to the thriving education, health, and well-being of young people. And so, from that commitment, Nigeria, when we got back to Nigeria, the Federal Ministry of Education and Health, brought together other sectors like Women Affairs, Ministry of Budget and Planning, Youth and Sports, and some other agencies came together and said, okay, we've been working too long in silos. Can we have a plan that focuses on the needs of young people? Not just their needs, but looking at their needs that can make them thrive, that can build their agency, that can make them believe in who they are and determine what they want to do with themselves. And also the enabling environment to be able to help them to lead. And so this logo, a bit blurry. I was trying to look for a clearer one, but this is the best I could get. This is the logo that says everybody should listen, understand young people, and act. And so we're all committed to that response. Now, the next slide, please. This response, the WCA commitment, there's a national plan in the country now that the joint UN team is supporting the government to deliver on. As we speak, the Ministry of Health is currently assenting to it at the National Council on Health in Borno. Are they in Borno or Borno? Yes, in Borno. And so this plan is a call to action. The plan it's a call to action to policymakers, to religious leaders, to everybody, for healthy, educated, responsible adolescents and young people who are actors in the development of their families, communities, and the country at large. So the plan, like I said, it talks about a lot of issues that affect young people. It has 9 pillars. We will share with you later. Could share the soft copy with you later. But in Nigeria, it's divided into 5 pillars. And it looks at a broad spectrum of non-communicable and communicable diseases and all of it, and issues that affect young people. Now, next slide. One major thing in that plan is that young people need to lead in the action. Is there a young person that's ready to lead here? Please just give me a wiper, please. Because I whispered it? Okay, so, and now here's Juliet. Juliet is a Nigerian. When the commitment was coming up, there were a lot of consultations and dialogues with young people. And as we move on, let me just tell you guys, this, like I said yesterday, we weren't joking that some of you, in like a year, you may even be talking at the UN General Assembly. That's the reality. It depends on how well you drift yourself and how well you're committed to what you're doing. Now, and of course, for those of us that, we're Nigerians, we're very religious, right? And then the God factor. So we know, she said that we know our issues and the solutions we need. By censoring information from us, we learn it the wrong way. And a lot of us, when we were growing, well, I'm still very young, but a lot of Uncle Sam's type, when they were growing up, the female amongst them, their parents never used to, mothers didn't used to talk about menstrual health and menstrual hygiene. In fact, I have a lot of friends that it wasn't from their parents that they knew about menstrual health and menstrual hygiene. They probably learned it from their friends, or they probably just saw their period and their friends laughed at them in the class and everywhere was quiet and all of that. And then when your mother suddenly finds out that you started menstruation, you started menstruation, make sure, guess what they say? Oh, do they still say it? No, you guys, you see what I said? You see what I said? I said I'm here to learn. So mothers still say that. It stopped here. Why did you say that?
Because children of nowadays, they watch, they learn.
Oh, so it hasn't stopped that when you touch a boy, you get pregnant. Because I've heard stories of young girls that when they touch a boy, they begin to cry. And they're like, they will get pregnant. Now, let me tell you the risk in this, and that's why this session is very important. The risk in that, because I recall the first time I ever heard about condom, we were under a tree in secondary school. I went to boarding house, and they just started talking about condom. Like the conversations around condom. But I recalled, because that condom, there used to be a magazine called Prime Magazine. I was always so interested in it as a child, you know. Maybe I was in primary 3 or something, or 4, I can't remember. I would pick up that magazine. It had like a diary. You know, I don't know if young people still love diaries, like you want to have Monday, what did you do on Monday? What did you want to... You guys don't like it again? Really? Oh, you now have notes on your phone. Oh, okay. So you still have more tech things. But that diary, it was Ayi. She used to write things in her diary every Monday, every week. Prime Magazine, one very old magazine. And so we were going to church. I was sitting between my older ones, and my dad was driving, and you know, and so I saw in the magazine, she said, Ayi said, I found condom in my husband's suitcase. And when I saw it, I didn't understand what it meant. So I turned to what is? And then I turned to my sister, what is? The two of them said, they were pointing to each other. And the next person that I asked pointed to my father, what is? And of course, a confident Oye. I just asked them, what is condoms? Everywhere went silent. And that was when I knew, okay, there's something wrong. I didn't know until then. And everywhere went silent. And the first thing my dad said was, where did you see that? And I said, in this magazine. He said, stop reading it. And he told me to stop reading it. But before he said stop reading it, he was a wise dad. He is a wise dad, actually. Please clap for my daddy. Because before he stopped that, he now said they are contraceptives that adults use. Adults use. And everywhere was silent. So I just knew that there was something wrong. So I couldn't ask more questions. Back to secondary school. The next time I heard about it was under a tree in secondary school. And they were discussing it all the way. You know, but it was safer for me because at some point I had been privy to that information, and so I was able to relate a little and say, okay, this thing is for adults and all that and all that. But the risk involved in our parents and people not talking or shying away from these conversations is that a child is likely to get the wrong information from another quarters. Because if, for instance, my friends started talking about condom and they say, okay, let's experiment. You know, because I had heard that is adults use. My friends have told me before that what your mother told you is a lie. Yes, when I was younger, they would say, no, your mother lied. It's not true. And you see, once a child says that to you, your friend says that to you, gradually you start looking at your mom and saying, And it's because my mommy will say, don't touch a boy. If you touch a boy, you'll get pregnant. But they're all wrong information. And that's what Juliet was saying. She was saying young people need to lead. You need to stop hiding information from us. And this process is one of the things responding to the WCA commitment. Please, next slide. That's one of the reasons why we're here. We want you young people to have the right information, to push the right information out there. These 2 weeks cannot empower you with all the information you need. It can't. It's not. But I know that books are no more. They say if you want to write it's something. I don't like saying that thing because we Africans, we read. We read a lot, don't we? You guys are not saying it confidently. Not quite long. How do you mean? We just started reading. We read. But if you want young people to read, do you put it in books? I just want to know. I'm curious. On TikTok. I wish one of my colleagues was here. Because he keeps saying, UNESCO man those books, does this and does that. And I'm like, can you just stop saying this, please? Where are the books? Are they in those hardcovers and all that? And do you young people actually pick hardcovers, books, and you're... Please, can you clap for her? What's your name? What's her name? What's your name there? Pleasure. Treasure. She has such a lovely name too. Treasure. So that's why we're here. We want to effect change. Please, can you remove the cursor from the screen? We want to effect change. We need innovation. We need you to think out of the box. We don't want regular conversations. We want dynamic things. You know, we don't want you thinking within the box and out of it. We need change. So why else do you think we're here? I've mentioned some of it. Why else do you think we're here? Yes, because I recall yesterday, a lot of you mentioned why we're here. Okay, yes. Please, anybody that wants to say anything. Why? Sorry. Innovation, thinking out of the box. He wants to say something. Yes, you were saying something. What's your name?
My name is Shem.
Shegun.
Shem.
Sorry?
Shem.
Shem.
Yes, ma'am.
As in, can you spell it? S-H-E-M. Really?
Yes, ma'am.
That's a very unique name. Okay, so.
I wasn't trying to say anything. No, I was.
And you took the mic. So say something. Yes, why are we here?
Part of the reason why we're here is to know how to navigate through the problems to find the solution.
Fantastic. Please clap for him, you see, and he didn't want to say anything. Fantastic. Next slide, please. So while achieving what we came here to do, next slide, please. While achieving what we came here to do, something, you will get these slides, but it's important for you all to know that whatever films or whatever productions we come out with, vulnerable people must always be portrayed in a positive light and with dignity. At the end of this whole process, we don't want to lit the social media and have fire. So whatever you're doing, who are vulnerable people? Can we give examples? Yes. Yes, adolescents are vulnerable. Well, vulnerable. Yes, because in the long run, because anybody living with HIV is like, but yes, you could want to present it in a way like the way it used to be presented before. When you want to paint, look at a picture of somebody living with HIV, they will now have maybe draw skull or draw some funny things and all that. Yes, you're right. So vulnerable people need to be portrayed in a positive light with dignity. We must look at ways of addressing and overcoming relevant inequalities in our society. So whatever films you're doing, as much as we want you to smash the ceilings and all that, some of these considerations are things that we really need to pay attention to. Now, one of the ones, I want to pick one in particular, that last one. When we are coming out with whatever productions we want, we need to pay attention to topics that are priority concerns for young people. What are examples of those topics that are priority concerns for young people? Sex education. Okay. Let's hear you. How do you mean?
Like teaching them what sex is and not just hiding anything from them.
So hiding information. I know that Dr. Yomi had done a lot in talking to you guys about this. We just felt that it was needed to bring this out because we do not want films that you end up doing that are ambiguous and create and lead the social media. I don't know. I don't want to dwell so much on that, but we'll give you these slides. Next slide, please. So let's just discuss some basic concepts. Remember, we said we don't want to hide information from you. We want you guys to know what's out there. Next slide, please. So, your target audience, quite a number of them. And I don't know, is there anybody below 18? No, there's nobody below 18 here. But we have 18 and above. Now, one, adolescents. For instance, what issues do we think affects adolescents? What are the challenges that we think currently affects them? Do we know who adolescents are? I just want to